welcome to Nostalgia Tech Lounge, the channel where we discuss all nostalgic things related to computers. Ah yes, the late 90s, the era of Windows 98, Pentium PCs, Voodoo graphics, early days of the internet and unwanted chain emails clogging your mailbox. Back then, people were sending each other tons of content that simply wouldn't fly in modern times. A very common thing was sending each other joke apps, simple little programs that were meant to pull a prank on an unsuspecting victim. Usually cleverly disguised as a document, new unknown game or an exciting piece of media. You would email them to a buddy and later observe their reaction as they watch in horror how their hard drive is being formatted, without an option to cancel the process. The entire thing was of course just a prank that was meant to scare him and no real harm was done to his data. Mailing joke apps to your friends was quite a common thing back then, as sending each other exe files in emails wasn't raising any suspicions. Computer security was still in its infancy and people weren't yet really paying attention to what they were being sent. The results of such negligence had catastrophic consequences in some cases, and a good example was the massive spread of the love letter virus, which caused massive damage to computer data in the year 2000. These days, trying to email someone an exe file will be likely blocked by the email provider, so unfortunately the days of sending prank apps to your buddies are long gone. In this video, I'm going to show you a few examples of such joke apps. Some of them pretend to nuke all of your data, while others do annoying things like flipping your desktop upside down or emitting annoying sounds with no visible source. All of these are available for download from my retro website, retrotechlounge.com. You can find them in the joke programs section. The website is designed to work with vintage web browsers such as Internet Explorer 5 and Netscape 4, so if you have an old PC with Windows 98, you can check them out for yourself. The first app which I'm going to show you is Fake Delete by RJL Software, who have made a ton of other joke apps worth checking out. Its devious nature is visible even before you launch the app, as its icon looks like a Windows 95 folder, and since Windows hides file extensions by default, you might think you're opening a folder and not launching the actual app. Upon opening, you will be greeted with a dialog window asking if you're sure that you want to delete your entire Windows directory. As you might expect, no matter whether you choose yes or no, it will start the deletion procedure. The entire thing is of course just a hoax and nothing is being deleted, but the app makes it extra believable by listing the actual contents of your Windows folder. Your computer will also produce the hard drive chatter and blinking LED, typically associated with reading and writing data. Once everything is over, you will get a pop-up telling you that nothing was actually deleted and the program was just a joke. Fake Format, also by RJL Software, is a similar ordeal. This time it goes one step further by pretending to format your entire C drive. Just like last time, trying to cancel or close the app will start the formatting process, which of course cannot be cancelled or closed. And same as last time, you'll see actual hard drive activity, making the experience even more terrifying and legit. An unsuspecting victim might actually freak out, thinking that some virus is currently wiping all of his data from existence. Both of these were quite commonly emailed from person to person, and I'm pretty sure the sight of your work buddy panicking at the sight of his entire hard drive being erased was totally worth it. Another app that pretended to format your hard disk is what I know simply as Format or att1.exe. At first glance, it looks like someone's first attempt at writing a Windows application in Visual Basic. You're greeted with a form titled Jeff's Ultra Cool Application, which simply prompts you to enter your first and last name. Once you click OK, your screen will go black for a few seconds and you will be presented with a countdown window, telling you that a low-level hard disk format will start in roughly 30 seconds. The cancel button is there, but it will run away from your mouse whenever you try to click it. Once the time is up, your screen will go to black for another few seconds and the program will tell you, just kidding. Nothing too sophisticated, but it was enough to give some people a decent scare. The trope of a button running away from your mouse was quite common. A good example is meaning.exe. The app is just a single window with a button that says to learn the meaning of life, click here, and an option to quit. The button is just as elusive as the meaning of life itself, as it runs away whenever you try to click it. Trying to outsmart the app by using tab and space to press the button doesn't yield any results. Doomers might say that maybe that's the message and life has no meaning no matter how hard you try, but we're not being so negative here. Two cool apps that you might want to add to someone's Windows startup are Badday.exe and Shake.exe. The first one simply flips your entire desktop upside down and goes away when you click your mouse or press a button on the keyboard. Minor nuisance, but nothing more. Shake.exe is a bit more irritating. As you might guess by the name, all of your open windows start shaking randomly left and right, and that includes the start menu and the right-click menu, which makes any attempts to close the app even harder. I used to piss off people at school by adding this one to the startup of our computers in the library, which got me into trouble on multiple occasions. One other app you might want to add to someone's startup is Random Burper, also by RJL Software. And as you might guess by the name, the app emits random burping noises from time to time without any visible windows or tray icons. This one is probably the most childish joke you could pull off, but I still find it funny. I remember the puzzled reactions of people when their computer would suddenly start burping out of nowhere. The app is fortunately very easy to get rid of, as all you have to do is move your mouse to the top left corner of your screen. Another silly app that I have very fond memories of is Virtual Viagra, which, as you might guess, grows your mouse cursor to enormous size. Unfortunately, the effects don't last for too long, as clicking your mouse shrinks it back to its regular size. Stupid? Absolutely. Funny? For me? Yeah. Nap and Coffee is a different beast. It's somewhere between a joke and an actually useful app. The entire purpose of this one is to pretend that your computer is currently doing something really important, like installing an application or scanning your hard drive for errors, so that you can, for instance, go grab a coffee or just have a good excuse as to why your work isn't finished yet. The app has three different modes. The first one is a simple progress bar window, and the second one adds a full-screen blue window that looks like your typical setup program. You can choose the title of the progress bar window and the blue window behind it, so you can make it look like you're currently installing the latest version of Internet Explorer or something. You can choose how long it's going to last, whether or not you can cancel the process, and if it should tell you how much time is left. The third one is a hard disk surface test, clearly inspired by Disk Doctor from Norton Utilities. It launches what looks like a deep scan of your hard disk, so giving it like half an hour or more to finish might be a good idea. If you're one of those guys who likes to fool around at work a lot instead of doing what you're actually supposed to be doing, this app might be for you. Now, this one you might be familiar with. Room.exe, also known as What's Wrong with This Room, is just your typical screamer made in Flash. You're presented with a picture of an average room and you're supposed to figure out what's wrong with it. After a minute or so, a piercing scream and a scary face will suddenly pop up and disappear right away. Nothing more, just your average screamer, scaring the living lices out of you, the likes of which were very popular back then. The last one is my personal favorite out of all of these. Windows RG, the really good edition, is an awesome Windows parody made in Flash, clearly inspired by the legendary horrendous quality of Windows ME, and oh boy, there is a lot of cool stuff here. I'm only going to show you a few of the awesome features this app has to offer, and there is quite a lot to this gem of an app. Right from the get-go, you are greeted with a beautiful MS Paint-like aesthetic, and a flurry of Windows error messages telling you that Windows found the system file so that it has been deleted. How very nice of you. There's a fully functional start menu with a bunch of apps like Solitaire, Paint, Word, Media Player, and even an option to order food online. Quite ahead of its time, I must say. Word, of course, features our favorite buddy, Clippy, and he's just as annoying as always, trying to help us in the most useless ways possible. Unfortunately for him, Windows RG detects a bunch of illegal operations performed and for that tries to get rid of our poor assistant. I mean, he might be a bit of a headache, but that's a bit too much. Paint, well, crashes in a very flashy way. Just see for yourself. Solitaire kind of works, I guess. You can move the cards around, and you can even win for absolutely no reason. Cool, I guess. Media Player plays a very cool funky tune that, not gonna lie, is quite enjoyable. But, of course, this being Windows RG, it has to crash right at the very end. And last but not least, there is an outright crash option in the start menu, which, as you might suspect, completely freezes the entire system. There's so much more to this app, and I urge you to check it out yourself, it's totally worth it. And that would be it for today. As mentioned before, you can find all of these joke applications on my website retrotechlounge.com. Some of those apps will not work on modern 64-bit versions of Windows, and most modern virus scanners detect them as joke apps and automatically quarantine them, so you might want instead to use an old PC with Windows 98, 2000 or XP, or simply install an old version of Windows inside an emulator like PCM or 86box. Download links for both emulators are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comment section below if you've ever used any of the apps that I mentioned today. Consider leaving a like and subscribe for more awesome nostalgic videos in the future. See you around. Cheers.